Trump he's going to live in infamy. He's only three presidents have survived an assassination. The most recent were Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
So two of the most popular presidents in Republican history,
Yep.
right? So let's go back to Ronald Reagan. The guy that killed Ronald Reagan, or excuse me, the guy that shot Ronald
Who
Reagan,
attempted to kill.
um, is John Warnock or John W. Hinckley Jr. John Hinckley. So John Hinckley, right? John Hinckley shot Ronald Reagan in 1981, right? Now, how old was John Hinckley at the time? So let's compare the two.
Okay.
He was born in 55. So if my math is correctly, 1981 would have made him 26, right? So he's 6 years older than our shooter, but they're in the same range of age,
Yeah,
right?
same age category, 20s.
So John shot President Reagan, and let's look at the reason why he shot
Okay.
President Reagan.
Thomas Matthew Crooks.
Okay, John Hinckley and Thomas Crooks. I'm just going to say his last name, Thomas Crooks. So
Yeah.
what similarities do they have? We don't really know, but I could probably assume, you tell me if you think I'm wrong,
Okay.
they probably both had some level of mental issues, right?
Yeah, I would say that.
We could agree
I
upon
could,
that, right?
yeah, I could agree upon that for sure.
So we're not going to go through his whole life, but he was 26, just 6 years older than Crooks. Now, John Hinckley, he became obsessed with the movie Taxi Driver that came out in '76. Robert De Niro obviously played Travis Bickle, and he became infatuated with Jody Foster, who played a sexually trafficked 12-year-old child in the movie Taxi Driver. So anyway, let me go. So it goes on to say how Foster went to Yale. Hinckley moved to New Haven, Connecticut to stalk her. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, so the Ronald Reagan assassination. Hinckley arrived in Washington in 1981. So he went to Washington basically to try to kill Ronald Reagan. But his reasoning for wanting to kill Ronald Reagan, his reasoning was that he wanted to impress. He thought that by killing the president, because he was obsessed with Jodie Foster, tried to stalk her, tried to get close to her, and also it talks about in Wikipedia that um, this guy actually wanted to kill President Jimmy Carter
Hmm.
because when he shot Ronald Reagan, it was only 6 months after the inauguration.
Mm.
Reagan hadn't been president that long, so he wanted to kill Jimmy Carter, and he had gotten really close as far as proximity to Jimmy Carter at some other event, but for whatever reason he didn't do it. But anyway, so his reasoning for trying to kill Ronald Reagan was that he wanted to impress Jodie Foster, and it's like
No correlation.
no, yeah, like was he? Think about it. At the time when he shot Ronald Reagan, I was a baby, you
Oh
were a
my
baby, right?
gosh.
But at the time, think about it. That day, they may have been wondering: is he a Republican? Is he a Democrat? Does he hate the fact?
Right.
Because keep in mind, Reagan had just become president.
Yeah.
Um,
Trying to make it political.
yeah, and these young kids, you don't know. He might have been. They already said that this guy Crooks was bullied, right?
Yeah.
And who knows? This guy Hinckley, who tried to kill Reagan, may have wanted to, he well, not may have, but he wanted to impress a woman, Jodie Foster, who he had no chance of being with. But he thought in his brain, like, I can impress her, and maybe I can be with her. And it's got nothing to do with with
Nothing to do
politics.
with politics
Nothing to do with politics.
whatsoever. So you never know what the
You
mentality
never know what.
of these people are. Honestly, you never know what the mentality is. That's why I like to wait, sit back, and watch and gather all the evidence before
Right.
I come to any conclusion of my own. You can have your own theories
100%.
and your own perspectives about, what you try to make it make sense in your own mind,
Right.
right?
Make it make
You
sense.
try to make it make sense in your own mind because I was going through a number of situations in my own head this morning. I was like, well, maybe I had a whole bunch of theories
What were you thinking?
going on in my head. I was trying to put pieces together. I was like, okay, so he was a Democrat and now he's a Republican and he has an assault rifle and he shoots a Republican candidate. So maybe he's really not a Republican. Maybe he's an ultra liberal
Oh
and they
no.
just wanted to look like
Oh
he.
no.
Oh my God, my head was just
Oh no.
like
Most
down the
not
tunnel.
good.
Going down That rabbit hole.
Oh shit, not good.
Yes, I know. I know. That's why I stopped myself.